welcome to our tribe talk today. I know that the family is joining us, and I am your sister, your friend, your girl, the Reverend Dr. Latanya Taylor, affectionately known as the Rev Coach, the Juicy Spirit Mama, the Priestess of Purpose, Pleasure, Passion, and Profits. And I'm coming just in to talk a little bit about some astrological movements. But I think they're more than astrological movements. I think that they are elemental energies that help us to plan, help us to position ourselves. They support us in knowing why we feel the way we feel, why we may be moving slow or we need to move faster. So welcome today. So we have a cosmic event that started on yesterday, that is called the Parade of Planets, and it's where 6 planets are lining up, um, and 3 of them are in retrograde. Actually, the lineup is more of an arc. And I really thought that I would come in and really focus on the 6 planets, but what I want to do is give us some cues, some keys, so that you also will consider doing your research, because the what's activating all of this energy is the Aquarius new moon that's coming up next week in a few days, actually. So you get the information, you have a chance to marinate on this information. And what I like about preparing for the new moon is if you get the information soon enough, you can plan how you ritual. Now, if you're a goddess, if you are a woman in our tribe, becoming the priestess of your own household, is what we say. If you're rising up to take the position of feminine leadership that you are called to, now this is a season where you're no longer hiding. You're no longer pretending like you're not drawn to the spiritual, to the metaphysical. And even if you don't understand it all, surely you have routines or rituals. All routines oftentimes are some type of ritual. And so the new moon gives you an opportunity to decide, if you do nothing but right intentions. How many of you that's watching already, and if you don't mind liking, sharing, commenting, if you're watching, the few of you who are watching as others come in, go on and say hello to a girl, right? Don't just be a peeping Tom or Thomasina. Say hello to your girl. Say what's up. Happy Wednesday. You know how your mama taught you, don't come in somebody's house and don't speak to them, right? I came in yours. I'm broadcasting in yours. So like, share, comment here today. But the point of it is, how many of you have something as simple as a God jar? How many of you have a God jar? Do you know what a God jar is? And maybe, especially if you have a lot of people in your house, this could be very useful to pull your family into a positive communication and setting up rituals. Yes, I'm giving you some things you can do right off the break. So how many of you have a God jar? A God jar in your home? Talk back to me. And depending on what platform you're watching on, you may have to click something to give permission to show your name. If you're on YouTube, I see your comments right away. But if you don't have a God jar, if you've heard of a God jar, it simply is a jar that you create. You use your creativity to decorate it on the outside. It can be glass, it can be small, it can be large, but it's something that you put out there. Hey sis, hey, how you doing? Okay, thank you for answering. All right. So it's something that you can consider, even if you're just beginning on your journey. And a God jar is something that you can have index cards next to. You can have pencils. Hey Jeannie. You can have pencils and pens And you can make it as creative and as sacred as you want. And that God jar is something that I would definitely encourage for those of you who are sharing space with your children, your spouse, both, even if you have a one that has a lot of company, you can even have this at work. But this is something that you put your prayers, your request, even sometimes it can be an exercise to release a thought that comes up to you, something you need to surrender, something you need to let go, something that you're calling forth. Particularly in the wintertime, you may not get a chance to get outside to burn these things, or to bury them, or whatever the case may be. But this I wanted just something as simple as that could help in this particular energy that we're in. I did like an overview of 2025. And honestly, there are so many transits happening every other week almost. Mind you, now the solar system is always shifting, changing as it is. But this year it's just intense. I don't want to label it as anything other than, you know, shift. Like, shift happens. Shift is going to happen. Like, I hear people saying there's just so much going on. And this particular parade of the planets, right? When you think about a parade, right? You think about people, you think that there's a band, right? The parade opens, there's a band, there's floats, there's rides, there's people standing on the side, and there's all types of artistic displays. Well, that's what we see and what we have here, right? With this lineup of these 6 planets. What that means energetically is the road is open. The possibilities are unlimited. But if you have been just thinking about the highlight reels of your life and not necessarily getting specific, not just about what you want, like, can we elevate the conversation from want? Because want creates more lack. Want brings the subconscious mind to the energy of lack. But if we look at what it is that we desire, what we intend, what do you intend to happen? What do you intend to do? And what are you calling for? What are you calling for? Because the more specific that you are able to get, I'm trying to see if I have this book. Let me see if I have this book, because I want to call it by the right name. I cannot put my hand on it without getting up, but I can still give you the exercise to do. So stay to the end, just so that I don't get too distracted, to give you an exercise that actually works. In fact, that's the book. It works. This is the season to use that. I just told people in our Wednesday prayer circle that this is where we all need to do. Even if you've done it before, if you've heard of it before, this is the energy. Why am I talking about this now? Because we're getting ready to have a new moon in Aquarius. I want to focus more on the new moon today with the backdrop of the parade of planets, because this parade of planets is bringing the open roads. This parade of planets is you're going to find that there are things that you have set in motion or wanted to set in motion, and they're happening. It's moving. It Aquarius energy. How many people, hey, how are you, glam mother? How many people do we have that are in our Aquariuses? Do you have some Aquarius somewhere in your chart? Do we have any Aquariuses? Do you live with any Aquariuses? This is important to understand, right? Well, because Aquarius is the energy. Oh, you okay, good for you. That's very interesting because okay, I won't give you a reading unless you give me permission to do that about the Aquarius moon. But let's let the with the parade of planets in the backdrop and the new moon in Aquarius and Pluto being in Aquarius, there are so many in-depth conversations that are about to rise up. Humanity is going deeper. Okay, Tamara, I should remember I remember your chart. You know why I remember your chart. um so the point is, those of you who have Aquarius activated in certain places, pay attention, because this new moon energy is, the new moon energy is refreshing. It's a new start. It's a way to set up um like the 28 days or 30 days forward, right? And so with the planning of the planets, you have Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, and Saturn, right? That are forming a large arc, right? And this is harmonious alignment, right? And it's creating something called a celestial portal, but it is symbolic of much more. It has some duality in this energy because this is also forming what's called the gates of the gods, the gate of the gods, because we have and it's referred to as the golden key. Now you've heard people talking about, you've heard me, I know you, if you follow me, you've heard me talking about okay, I'm going to talk to all of you. Since you three are the ones responding, I'm going to talk to you also at the end, give you a little taste, okay? Because each one of you just put your Aquarius position. Each one of you gave something different. So stay tuned, because I'm gonna share a few things with you. But when we look at that, you've heard me talking about the golden age. We entered in the golden age in 2020. That's one of the reasons COVID was called the corona virus. When you look at the corona, it is about the corona is about gold. It's golden. Even when you think about the Corona beer, hey Erica, it is golden, a golden color. We entered into that golden age. In that 2020 year, there was a big shift. And that 2020 also represents clear vision. So here we are now. When we enter or in one age and enter into another age, the ending starts to happen before a certain actual date, before it takes effect. It's kind of like um, getting pregnant. When you're pregnant, but you only deliver on a certain date. So the 9 months you're preparing, but you may have even been preparing even for conception before that. That's like that. Or you could have likened it to a relationship that ends. The relationship may many relationships start to end or decline, or it's on its last leg before it's final, before the divorce is final, before it ends. Well, that's why the age of Aquarius has been in effect. It's been happening. It's been loading, but it fully loaded when Pluto moved into Aquarius last year at the end of the year, right? When it's stationed direct and is staying there for 20 years. There was some planets that moved out and it moved out and then it moved back in. And so then it came back in to stay for 20 years. Hey, Dana. So when you understand that, then from that point of view, nothing just happens. So this golden age has been happening. We're in it now. We're at the beginning stages of what is the age of awakening. We're out of the age of Pisces, which was ruled by the patriarchy. So this particular planetary lineup between the 21st and the 25th signifies the golden key. The golden key. If you saw my post on any one of my pages, then you saw I put a little golden key. I was rushing. I probably should have put a little something so people could know what it was. But the golden key, what is it? The question that you get to ask is, what is it that you need to unlock? And then think about the matrix and the gold and the key maker. Before Neo could get access to one thing, hi Uzuri, he had to get keys. And when he finally got to the key maker, he had the key maker has so many keys to so many things. Same for you. And so when we talk about this symbolic energy, it's a dual energy because this particular parade of planets has an effect from the 21st of January until the 28th of September. And so there's two keys to talk about here, the golden key and the silver key. One is amplified by the moon, the golden key. One is amplified by, the golden key is amplified by the sun, and the silver key in February is amplified by the moon. This also represents the masculine and feminine dynamics, the yin and the yang energy. And in the center of the yin and the yang is where we get to find our peace. And so many of us are finding ourselves automatically being called to balance the masculine and feminine energies. Men are who have been taught toxic masculinity are accessing phases of their own healing that require a level of vulnerability. But women who have been taught to be hard or have to survive are also accessing this energy as well. Because remember, this number 9 is governed by the fierce energy of the mama, Kali Ma energy, fire energy, change energy, right? Transformation energy, or in Ifa, Oya energy. It is the mother that comes with a sword, comes with fire. So we see all of this change, right? And what we're talking about is humanity being like the phoenix rising from the ashes. No disrespect to the fire energy, but remember I told you that the month of January is governed by Mars. So let me keep going. And I said I was going to say key things for you that I want you to look up, right? The gates of the gods, the golden key, the silver key. Like, what does this mean if your bell is rang by this? Because we're talking about you knowing and accessing your archetype in this season, not just navigating in the blind, bumping into things, or everybody telling you what to do. But basically, this is weaving together energies of planetary archetypes of unity and alignment. The key word is alignment. Are you in alignment with your purpose? Are you in alignment with what you said that you were going to do? Are you in alignment with your spiritual gifts? Or are you still afraid, still worried about what people think? Are you still riding the fence, trying to keep the door open on what you have known and who you have been or built your identity around? Or are you being called to elevate? Are you being called to expand? You will know because you will feel this. And so this is not the time to be in confusion. This is the time to stand. Your bloodline energy is also coded in this because this is an intersection of the ages. Because scripturally, you know the scripture, unto you as you believe, right? Pisces is about belief. And so many of us were programmed and told and taught what to believe and sometimes how to believe. And so now this is the season to question belief. And so we're with the age of Pisces, Aries, Taurus was the age of mankind. And now we're going beyond that. This is why we're seeing other life forms showing themselves in the sky. Is that too deep for you? For those of you who are watching, And it's nothing to be afraid of because we all have cosmic ancestors and cosmic relationships. See, the thing that you are drawn to, attracted to, is not by accident. From the cartoons you watch to the superheroes that you were that you were drawn to, it's not by accident. All of that is meant to give you clues. Just like in business, success leads clues. If success leaves clues, your spiritual and sacred success also is leaving clues. And so we are being, it's a divine setup. Aquarius energy is the divine disruptor. The divine disruptor. It's not coming to go along with the program. It is about, how are you different? How are you called to be different? And wherever Aquarius is in your chart, that may be where you experience the call. But it also can be where you experience the most resistance to the call. Most of us don't say yes to the call easily. That's why sometimes the yes that we say is the thing that is the that opens, is the golden key. The yes to the invitation, the yes to the workshop, the training, yes to the book, yes to the go read something, watch something that you never have before, and not watch it to just be entertained, but to watch it to go within. Okay, so when we're talking about this parade of planets in the backdrop, we have a sacred dance that's happening again between Venus and Mars, of this divine masculine and feminine, that's calling for deep integration, inspired action, because Aquarius does not go along to get along. It does not go along with the crowd. And so what is it that you need to be doing different? And even just duplicating what you have seen. No, 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 no. It will feel too heavy for you if you try to be a copycat. This is about finding your unique signature and trusting it, even in business, in parenting, in your relationship, doing your relationship on your terms. So, this new moon energy is really, this is quantum leap energy. This is quantum leap energy. So, those of you who are already doing your work, you're praying, you're writing affirmations, you're not joining in on this hate train that's happening around politics, or you didn't join in, or you're not claiming victim consciousness. I've never seen a group of people who play a game, and every time they lose, that, and I'm talking about both sides, every time they lose, somebody else was cheating. You ever played? I don't do a lot of playing cards and stuff like that, but those of you who are big card players, you know how to lose fair and square. Or when you play with the person, they talk about you all night long when they lost the game. When you and your partner threw down some things that shifted the game. Well, that's what's happening. There is a war of the worlds that's happening there. Yes, there is spiritual warfare that's happening, but those of us who have put on the whole armor, oh my God, those of us who have put on the whole armor, what armor? Not the armor of fear and worry and doubt and all of that. Yes, we need to prepare. Yes, we need to train, and yes, we must be healthy, because this year has a lot of implications about being healthy. So when the change comes and the shift comes, we won't get taken out by the density of the energy. So Uranus, which is what it governs Aquarius, shakes loose outdated belief systems. Okay. And then we have Jupiter moving. It magnifies opportunities for transformation. What are you looking to transform? Drop it in the chat. What are you looking to transform? If you want to share, what are you looking to transform? Most people always go to money. But this is also, the golden age is not like the patriarchal age of Pisces, where it's just survival, money, money, money. You have to have some purpose. You have to have a battery in your back that about bringing you peace. You in other words, karma free money, not money that cost you something, meaning cost you your life, cost you your marriage, cost you your relationship with your children. Because a lot of young millionaires that I work with, they get them back, but they don't have the hearts of their own children. And many of them, until their marriage is in trouble, if they're married, do they want to humble themselves to do the emotional work. And so this is sometimes when you're asking for it. You know how mama say, you asking for it. Mama is saying to some of us, you're asking for it when you know better and you don't do better. Okay. So this is also this energy does align with abundance and creativity. May I make a suggestion? If you are one who lives in your head all the time and you want to access more of your feminine, go and do some inner child play. Get you a coloring book. You don't have to get there are adult coloring books now. But I recommend the abstract ones where you can just color in and shade and let your mind be free, or draw freehand and get down on the floor and do it. Right now it's cold in many places, but you play outside, ride a bike, skip, throw a ball, to tap in and call forth this creative energy. Never, and not to mention dance and music. We need the artistic to communicate with the divine and allow the divine to communicate with us. Neptune also opens the cosmic gateway. This is like Pisces is really in the lead with this one. And so it's amplifying more wisdom, more intuition, more divine downloads. So there are people right now, like me, I can testify, where your psychic gifts, your intuitive gifts, those of you who channel, those of you who see, you know, I'm not trying to be for you to say, I see dead people, but those of you who see colors and impressions and actual beings, this is about to turn on. So this is a time to trust your intuition, or do the work, or be in the tribe that promotes you being able to speak this language, ask these questions, share the breakthroughs and the downloads, and not necessarily be amongst people who are looking at you like you're crazy, shooting down the spiritual energy and downloads that make you distrust. Saturn is grounding the cosmic energies and anchoring in ascension codes. All of these shifts that are happening cosmically is upgrading us. You know how Beyonce said, I can upgrade you. I think I got that right. I think. But this is literally the transfiguration energy from being a neophyte, like in the Matrix. Now, there are some people who don't even want to be a neophyte. They're not interested. They're not curious. Those are the gatekeepers. They look like us, but they are not us. And they're not even for us. They may even have big platforms, but their mindset is stuck in the boomer generation, or they only have one piece, and they don't want to have the cosmic conversation. They only want to have the fight, the they them. The white man is the problem. The white man is doing it. Only when you really dive into this study, when you really dive into travel, astro travel, and dreamland, there is no color. There's something called getting into a space of clear face. Because when you truly do plant medicine and time travel and all of that, the energies you see is not black and white like that, and even if they are, it's not what we are used to. So this is the reset is happening not just in the collective conscious, not just in our banking, not just in the things that you hear, the signs and the changes happening, but it's happening in us. You're being reset. So I want to show you something as well before we talk a little bit more about this new moon. Can I show you something? Let me know if you in for it. Even if you're eating lunch, I want you to hear this question that Brother Rich asked, and I'm gonna fast forward through a couple of these presentations because this is a clip of a longer broadcast, but I think it's a worthy conversation. So bear with me. Thank you, Erica. You answered me. You said, of course. Yes, sis. Okay. So let me put this on the screen here. Check this out, all right?
Sciences such as astrology, numerology, things like that. And, you know, these sciences tell us certain things about who we are. But my question to y'all is, some of us are very old souls. Say, for example, Brother Rich, I might have existed before the sun, moon, and stars even was around. I might have been one of them souls that was around way before the sun, the moon, the stars, Saturn, scary ass Saturn, Jupiter, Venus, Mars, all that shit. I might have been around before all of that. Now, if I was around and souls like me were around before all of that, are we subjugated to the same rules of astrology as a soul who came around after these planetary bodies existed? Or do the rules completely change for souls that were around before this certain things in the Matrix even came about?
Do you want to see how good you can get?
Of course, it would be a commercial. So let this commercial pass, y'all. Okay, here we go.
Look, Michael Jordan was 12 years old. You think he could have beat Dr. J in the pickup game, 1-on-1?
When he was 12, no.
Okay, now, when he was 30, right, and you squared him up against Dr. J, now Dr. J is aged, right? And this is the continuation and the passing on of energy. Because Dr. J aged, if he could beat Jordan when he was the same age as Jordan was when he was 13, when he becomes 30 now, he's that much older than Jordan. So now all of his senses is declining because of something called age, right? So we looking at a baton passed to self. When you're talking about an individual soul, that's always has to be filtered through an ego. Because when you're not in the physical form, there is no one of us. We are unison.
That's the
we all together. We the great egregore of consciousness that is creation. But when we take on a physical form, we encapsulate all that into an ego. And the old souls just learn how to use the ego to its advantage better than the new souls. And we called the new souls the snakes, but the old souls was the dragons. The great terrible lizards, because they can control the manifestation potentialities of this physical form so good, they became spooky and scary like goblins and goons. But that was just another representation of the potency of their power.
Okay, so I'm going to pause that, and then I want you to hear this next response, okay?
He the one wrote in the law that to go through the
even thousands and thousands of years of different.
I want you to hear how 7
really deep. You know, when we really go there, what we're talking about is taking place even outside of time, even thousands and thousands of years of different levels of entities actually taking their sides in either exploiting the situation and furthering the building of the foundation on top of mother, no matter, you know, what the cost is, continuously harvesting different levels of the souls that are here, keeping them in the game longer than they really should be, longer than the lesson. But sometimes, you know, at the end of the day, we also see how everybody's gotten so strong in all of this. Like, I really wanted to just add some of the linguistic references, because what he's speaking on, you can also take a part in the Arabic. Again, you know, the receipts is always great. I love to use the language. I love to use Ma'at or math. That's really all me in 2025 is just math, because these numbers are very important. You know, even just having 10 fingers, you know, and what that really means versus the ancestors in every way having 12. Like, when you go up the lineage, or you generally inbred into a family, you generally will have 6-finger children coming out. And a lot of this stems into just, again, the linguistic side, because
My daughter has 6 fingers. They had to cut one. They had to cut something off.
Okay, I think you're talking, Rich. But so basically, what was mentioned is that, you know, you begin as, you know, they talk about the neophytes as beginning as the serpents, but then the masters ending as dragons. And, you know, I found that very interesting in him stating that, because that's exactly what the hidden cult, if you may, of Amun, who is again that same pattern of the Kola kings rebelling against their mother, took the dialectic, which is basically the language, and not only created sub-dialectics, but also could not speak the language of their mother. And that's, of course, encased within the Dogon mysteries, the Day of the Fish, speaking on how the Great Mother, the language in which the women speak, the men of the species, if you may, that are not androgynous, they are not even allowed to speak that language. But that brotherhood then went on and developed this, what you would call today as even these sub-dialects, like even Hebrew and Arabic as they are now, these flame languages that actually in themselves are missing pieces, and at least half. As we'll notice, there's another book, The Alphabet That Changed the World, just showing the flame language and the position of the Hebrew language, but really that this is spellcraft that operates inside of a certain aspect of the consciousness, keeping a person basically inside of that matrix, and only immersion into nature, being aware of self, being more empathic, changing of the diet, all the things that we've been talking about, starts making things clearer and clearer for a person to then begin to move on, even from the dogmatic religions and structures that have been put in place that are like the stepping stones for them. I always call it the Lord, right? The first step on the ladder, but still realizing that Lord and all these terms are terms heavily used within this same empire where the man had deified himself, meaning that you had men that said, hey, I'm God. And, you know, that survives even in the religious systems today. But that cult specifically, you know, is very embedded within the world today, very embedded within the linguistic systems, and does operate, as they call themselves, the masters of the waveform. They operate slightly out of the vibratory frequency of where we're phased in now, because this is still a lower frequency to where we're at when we're in something like the dream realm or the astral plane, or even in our higher vibration and still in the physicality. So the goal then becomes in the reality to continue to depress the beings, you know, keep them confused, get the vibration and frequency with a gap in it, so that way there's not a strong oscillation there, not a strong memory, not a what they would say where your blood is spiraling up, and you have that ability to implode and to move through even your dream space and actually interact with your multiple selves, multiple aspects of the ancestors, multiple aspects of the archetypes, in order to be able to discern truth from falsehood, because truly that's what, in the end, this starts to become about. That's why I always say, in the end, what remains will be the truth. Because now, if this lesson served any purpose, which I believe it serves many, I actually do believe the ancestors cooked up a hell of a sim. It set on hard, but these are the rights. I feel like that even our ancestors had it definitely way more, way more going on, because these are the rights anyway. You being tried by fire, you being tried for honesty, you being tried for, these are the rights anyway that one is put through in the rearing process. And
so I'm going to stop it so that you can want to get a little bit more. Was that good to you? Because that was good to me. Look at that. I gotta catch this. Okay, look, you said me and my sibling, all of my 8 siblings were born with 11 and 12 fingers. So guess what? You're a testimony. He did not make that up, right? Thank you, Dana. You said the new soul is the snake, the old soul is the dragon. Now you know, Dana. I told you, Dana, that that was gonna come back to you. Oh my God! This is an inside conversation, an inside ceremony revelation. Because see, when things come to you in ceremony, and you're not used to having these communications, or you're not telling people that you're having it. I'm talking to the people who are awakening or awakened. You're not crazy. You're waking up to the next level. Aquarius is the wake up agent. Pisces in the lead is saying that the old has passed away, because Pisces is the end of a thing. 9 is the end of a thing, so that the new beginning. See, everybody wants to be the butterfly, but most people do not want to go in the cocoon to be transformed. We're at the end of a cycle of things. So where were you? What was happening in your life 8 years ago? What was happening in your life 8 years ago? Because you were just beginning a new cycle 8 to 9 years ago. And the 9th cycle means that you're at the end of that thing so that a new thing can be born. Come on now. Something, you are pregnant with something. And sisters, this is divine. The Pisces in the lead is the divine feminine energy. So that is why we have to do the work of the mother womb. That is why we have to do the work of healing our relationship with women. That is why we get to honor the ancestors and the matriarchs in our line. This is why more people are doing plant medicine. More people are growing their food. More people are learning about herbs, because our mothers and our great grandmothers, and they already knew this. We are the indigenous here. And the indigenous here did not talk about Aquarius and Gemini and Capricorn. They talked about snakes and dragons as archetypes and symbols. So this is the new language that we're using to study ourselves and show ourselves approved. You think that you're just working with children, or you are just in the business of hair and cosmetology, makeup and beauty. You think that you just happened to be on drugs because of your trauma, or you think that you had the experience with your mother and father. My husband said something so powerful to me, that I said yes so quickly that it wasn't until I realized what he said. I said, oh, yes, yes, yes. He said, Superman had a hard time being Clark Kent. Tell me if you got that. Superman had a hard time being Clark Kent. Thank you, baby, if you're watching me. Because our masterminds are so rich and so full. Many of us have been taught that we're just Clark Kent, and that's not our true identity. You are Superman and Superwoman, but it's unbelievable to you because you coming up the rough side of the mountain trying to make it in. When you may be able to jump and cross the mountain by leaps and bounds, but you can't do it with this avatar. You have to be able to travel outside of this avatar, and that requires other information, other things, other tools, other activations. Well, it's happening. It's happening, whether we want it or not. But those of us who have been on this journey for a long time, and even if you just started, you don't have to be say, I'm not here for a long time. But you've been here before. How many of the people who are watching today had a grandmother or an old person look at you and say, baby, that baby been here before. That child has been here before. Or they say that you are somebody else incarnate. Anybody? Or is it just me? Or you don't know why you do the things that you do only to find out that it was done long before you. This is the season where why you do what you do, why you had to go through what you went through, then this is the season that you're going to know why. You're going to know who, you're going to know where, you're going to know what tribe, what civilization, what chieftain, there's another word for what we came from, because the indigenous had levels of their society. And many of us were serving in this royalty. And this is the season where your downloads and the cross, it's time for you to come down off of the cross, sister. Don't matter for us to get into arguments about who put us up there. Do you want to come off the cross? Because the possibilities are unlimited for your resurrection. And that is why in our Sunday sessions, we're focusing on the return of the matriarchy. In our prayers, we are focusing on our prayers and our communication and our tools in communicating and activating the ancient mother. And this is why we are turning up, not down, in Juicy. Because Juicy is joyfully unveiling intimacy's creative yes. It's not just about dripping for somebody to get something, to do manipulation. It's about the yes on your life, the game of yes, and how you play it. So I know that's a lot to digest, and I enjoyed, sharing this with you. And if you want more drip, come into the Feminine Leadership Lab. Come get in. It's free to join. I've seen some of you who have been members of the Rebirth Woman community, now transformed into the Shift Talk Free community on Facebook. Well, as you can see, just like they did with TikTok, I am not waiting for someone to tell me to get your own. Hey, baby, if you from New Orleans, you know the Josephine Johnny. I ain't worried about Josephine. Huh? You got to get your own. And so I'm asking you to come into the space. I've made it so that it does not cost you anything to come in, to access the prayer circle, to get the alerts and the reminders. It does not cost you anything. And if you've been sitting under this teaching for all these years, I shouldn't have to convince you to come and join me in a sacred private space that is our own. So that if I want to go into deeper detail, I don't have to edit on YouTube. I don't have to edit on Instagram. That I can give resources, that I can get, and you can get links, and you can have a buffet. And there are sisters who are standing up and rising up, and they're teaching classes. And we're talking right now, we have a active yoni egg training for you. We're coming in that way. The FAB Factor is active right now. 7-day reset live with Minister Dana and I, where we're connecting the dots of this abundance that this energy represents. Can you imagine if you were in the room with the sisters? With the sisters, right? Come on, Jeannie. Talk that talk, Jeannie. Who right now are in the FAB Factor, and we're going and doing deep dives into the womb of consciousness and to our own consciousness. When they look up the things that are just going to start coming to them and manifesting because they said yes to themselves. I'm inviting you to say yes to yourself. And if you're just watching, if you're new, then fine. Say yes to yourself, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Can each one of you who are watching right now, can you take a minute and make sure you're subscribed to the channel? And do me a favor, friends fly free. Can you invite your friend to come fly with us? We'll reserve a seat for her. It may not be first class, it may be coach, but that's okay. Those of you who are in first class, you will join in the rim circle. Yes, yes. So I love you, and I there's nothing you can do about it. I do this work because I'm called to it. Let me tell y'all a quick story. Tell you something real quick. If you don't believe fat meat is greasy, borrow my faith. Okay. So we did. I hadn't even told you this, Minister Dana. We did a plant medicine ceremony, and after the ceremony, never mind the ceremony, but the just after the ceremony, you still get downloads, you still get information. And so I had gotten some information from one of my ancestors. And I was laying down and I said, oh, and more information came in. And I said, I never speak about this particular ancestor. I do not, and this is one that I grew up with. Then I start talking about all his brothers and sisters and the street he grew up on, because it's fresh on my memory. And something said, go look it up. And as I looked it up, it was so much stuff in the lookup. There is the truth. When Rod Hayes and Seven and Brother Rich are talking about truth, it is right in front of our faces. Anybody that does not know right now, you don't want to know. Because if you go look it up, it's right there. So I go look it up. And when I say we are the indigenous here, and when all of this stuff, like literally it was right there in my face. Information about my bloodline, where my people came from, that answered questions that spirit had been given to me for years. And even when it came to my work with the devotion to the Divine Mother and turning the hearts of the daughters back to the mother, the ancient mother of civilization, to remember that you are the mother of civilization, I went to find, it took me all the way back beyond the 1800s, which is when things started to change. And I found out that my people, the Indians that I come from, were not only a matriarchal lineage, but they had a matriarchal system of worship and devotion. You just can't make this ish up. I guarantee you that if you come and study genealogy with me, if you've already started the genealogy process, we will be able to connect spiritual dots for you that are right in front of your face. That this is a spiritual exercise for those of you who are reactivating your divine memory, your cellular memory. And if this is going over anybody's head? I'm not talking about the skeptics. I'm not talking, yes, Tamara, it's in our DNA, love. It's in our DNA. Some people say, I don't know, I'm so drawn to you. I don't know why I'm so drawn to you. I do. But it's up to you to get that. Because if I tell you, then that's about me. But when spirit tells you, your ancestors tell you, it's still about you. So any ahas, digestions from what you heard today? Any digestions that I would love to capture before we close out? I always think that I can get in here and get out of here for 30 minutes. I really didn't feel like doing a whole lot of talking today. I promise you, because I've been listening so tough. Okay. So listen, Any of you have any ahas or digestions from what you heard today? Or questions? Well, I invite you to come and to join us. If you're typing, I'll catch it, but I invite you to come and join us. You also can get a blueprint reading or frequency reading. I'm currently offering frequency readings for only $97. I will extend that to my rebirth tribe here. If you don't know how to get to it, just go to the link that's in the description below. Grab your frequency reading. If you want to get into the FAB Factor today, Spirit told me to open it up. Open it up. Come in today. I'm also, if you've already had a frequency reading from me, I'm going to be sending you an email today so that you can both get in and get the special for the FAB Factor or get the other half of your frequency reading. So I love you. Oh, okay. Listen. All right. I caught it, Jenny. Jeannie said Superman had a hard time being Clark Kent. Okay. Let me ask y'all something. Okay, what you think you create. Yes. I got to ask you one more question. Erica said, and the portal is open. You got it. You heard me. All right. And guess what? When you digest it, you're doing it for somebody else. Let's close this out with this. What cartoon character were you drawn to? We'll continue this discussion more at another time. What character were you drawn to? My favorite was Wonder Woman. I should have asked you all to guess what my favorite could have been, but what was yours? I wasn't into Superman then, but when I started to get these spiritual downloads, I was flabbergasted by the Superman story being us. That's why these drones and these orbs, I'm not afraid. Every time they say it, I can't wait till one come. I know my ancestors hear me. She-Ra, who is She-Ra? She-Ra. Okay, 2 of you say She-Ra. Okay. Anybody loved Spider-Woman? She was sexy. Anybody else? Well, I want you to think about that. In fact, you should go watch a show this weekend that has your favorite superhero in it, but this time watch it with spiritual eyes and see if you see that in yourself. If you do not see it in yourself, then make sure you come on over to the Feminine Leadership Lab. I love you all. Have a wonderful day.